The story revolves around a boy named Dango. He was walking towards the bus station, singing a song he had composed. At the same time, a group of individuals approach him and forcefully take him away. These people are involved in kidnapping and organ trafficking. They bring Dango to a doctor who proceeds to remove all of his organs. Despite being on the verge of death, Dango witnesses the entire procedure. The doctor takes out Dango's eyes and places them on a tray before stepping away to answer a phone call. However, something strange happens. Tentacles emerge from Dango's body and his organs begin to regenerate. The doctor is terrified when he sees Dango's eyes return to their sockets. While searching for his other eye, the doctor calls his henchman, but Dango manages to escape. A few days later, an incident occurs where a statue of a beautiful lady is placed in the middle of the road. People gather around to admire the statue, but when they take pictures, they discover that it is bleeding. It is revealed that the statue is actually a person who has been turned into a statue. News of this spreads rapidly, and the police arrive at the scene. The inspector conducts a thorough investigation. They find two symbols. P&N. Dango is shown with a bandage over his eye, leading a sorrowful life. One night, while practicing his own song, suddenly he feels pain in his eye, and he sees the same symbol that was on the statue's body. With his missing eye, he begins to see other things and realizes that a man has his eye. Next day, Dango goes to his job at a junkyard, where he encounters a group of people beating his friend, and he tries to help him. He was attacked, and one of them pulls out a knife to kill Dango. However, Dango fights back, and in the process, his ear gets cut off. The ear falls to the ground, causing them all to flee. Dango picks up his ear and miraculously retakes it with his strange powers. Meanwhile, a gang that sells body organs is also searching for Dango because they discover that his body and organs are special. No matter how badly he is injured, his body can heal itself, making it worth a fortune on the market. After the fight, Dango goes home to practice his song, but he doesn't know the correct lyrics. He listens to it again and starts practicing. Suddenly, he has a vision of a man who has his eye is also listening to his song. However, Dango's eye starts to hurt, so he decides to return to the place where he was taken to find his eye. The people who were after him recognize him and try to capture him, but a girl named Lee arrives and saves him. She tells him that she knows he is Dango and cuts his leg with her knife. However, the wound quickly heals and Dango escapes from Lee and runs away. Later, Dango has a vision of a book that explains how to kill people and turn them into statues. It becomes clear that the man with Dango's eye is the one responsible for these statues in the city. A girl who is listening to Dango's song while going to her office sees another recently murdered statue in the city. She tells her friend, Mr. Jin, about it. Even though he has some bad habits, she still likes him. She sings Dango's song in front of Mr. Jin, and both of their eyes start tick, revealing that Mr. Jin is the one with Dango's eye and is responsible for the killings. It's revealed that Dango's eyes have a special connection to his song, causing them to react whenever it is played. One day, he experiences pain and sees the words corpse art in his vision. Curious, he searches for it online and discovers that the person responsible for ending people in the city and turning them into statues is none other than Mr. Jin. Determined to find out more, Dango approaches Mr. Jin's friend the next day, recognizing her from a dream and inquiring about the man she was with the previous evening. However, the girl becomes scared and refuses to share any information, thinking that Dango is flirting with her. Unaware of the killer's appearance, Dango seeks the help of an astrologer, describing the symbols he saw and the dates of the murders. The astrologer reveals that these events are connected and predicts another murder the following day, but Dango is left unsure of the time and location. Meanwhile, the girl who likes Mr. Jin moves into his house and stumbles upon a book detailing the method of creating the statues. She realizes that Mr. Jin is behind the murders, and the next day, a statue appears in the city. The gang who is after Dango spots him among the crowd, attempting to capture him. Just as they are about to harm him, Lee arrives and saves him once again. Lee reveals that she is a novelist working on a book called Connect, which explores the concept of superhumans and their ability to reattach body parts. Grateful for her help, Dango thanks her and takes her number before leaving. On the other side, Mr. Jin's friend is shown to be worried after discovering the truth. He takes her to the roof, where she confesses that she knows everything about the people he has ended. She says she is aware of all the details regarding the statues, and the man overhears the conversation as she recounts everything. However, his phone rings, interrupting the conversation. Mr. Jin notices him and approaches him. He violently attacks and beats him before pushing him off the roof. Witnessing this, Mr. Jin's friend becomes faint. Meanwhile, her phone rings, playing Dango's song. As the song plays, Both Dango and Mr. Jin experience discomfort in their eyes, causing Dango to have a vision. In the vision, Dango witnesses Mr. Jin brutally ending the lives of two individuals. Disturbed by what he saw, Dango goes to Mr. Jin's office. Upon arrival, everyone present becomes aware of the murders, resulting in chaos. The police are also called to the scene. However, Dango notices Jin's coat and decides to pursue him into the washroom. Unfortunately, he still hasn't seen Jin's face, and the police mistakenly arrest Dango as the suspect. Despite Dango's claims of innocence and insistence that the real murderer is in the washroom, no one believes him. Fortunately, Lee comes to Dango's rescue once again. In the office, Mr. Jin appears worried as he realizes that there were no witnesses on the roof except for them. Additionally, his eye discomfort while listening to Dango's song leads him to understand that his eye is the source of all the problems. He realizes that his eye has been transplanted, allowing someone else to see everything he does. One day, Dango brings Lee to his home and reveals everything, starting from his childhood. He shares the story of how he fell from a tree and miraculously healed his broken leg, leading his friends to call him a monster. He also explains how his family abandoned him and recounts the night he was kidnapped by a group of people. Mr. Jin had his eye taken out, and now he is the one responsible for ending everyone in the city. I want him to be arrested, but I have no information about him. Lee, upon hearing this, becomes surprised and reassures him not to worry. He promises to support him and gives Dango a pair of glasses, saying that now no one will make fun of him. The people will not recognize him. But when they go to the market, they see posters of him. The police are searching for him. But suddenly his eye starts hurting. Mr. Jin appears and warns him to stay away, threatening to end him. He discovers that the man whose eye was transplanted to him is none other than Dango. He also learns about the next murder that will happen. At night, Dango meets a man while searching for Mr. Jin. The man sings a song, causing Dango's eye to feel pain, and then he sees Mr. Jin. Dango chases him and the police arrive, arresting Dango. He is unable to explain that he sees visions of Mr. Jin being behind all the murders. In jail, Dango is beaten badly, but he insists that he is not a murderer and knows who the real murderer is. The inspector takes him to the roof, where Dango reveals everything about Mr. Jin having his eye. He demonstrates his hand breaking and joining back together, surprising the inspector. Dango jumps from the roof to capture Mr. Jin, knowing that any injuries or wounds will heal. Meanwhile, Jin goes to the doctor who performed the eye transplant on Dango. A past scene is shown, where Mr. Jin asks the doctor for an eye, leading to the doctor using Dango's eye as an experiment. The doctor's life comes to an end when Mr. Jin is the one responsible for his demise. Shortly after, the gang led by Dango arrives to investigate and discovers the lifeless body of the doctor. Lee spots a man who was sent by the organ-selling gang that was associated with Dango. Taking matters into his own hands, Lee captures and eliminates the man. Meanwhile, Dango is filled with joy as his favorite singer is about to release his song. Mr. Jin makes a phone call, which is also witnessed by Dango. They have their first conversation, and Dango questions why Mr. Jin is ending people's lives. In response, Mr. Jin reveals that he is a cancer patient and believes that if he cannot survive, then no one else should either. He promises to show Dango how he will bring death to people. Meanwhile, the police discover the dead body of the man who was eliminated by Lee. They also gather evidence against Mr. Jin. During a meeting with Dango, Lee intentionally cuts her neck, but it quickly heals, indicating that she is also connected to their unique abilities. She suggests that there may be others like them. Mr. Jin disguises himself as Dango and kidnaps the singer who had contacted Dango, warning him that he will end the singer if he fails to meet him by nightfall. The organ-selling gang captures Dango, but Lee insists that he leave and she will handle them. Lee confronts the goons, and when one of them cuts her face, it miraculously heals, leaving the goons astonished. They realize that not only Dango but also Lee possess these extraordinary abilities, making them valuable for organ trafficking. Lee exerted dominance over them and fled from the scene. The other hand, the police gathered all the evidence against Mr. Jin. It was revealed that Mr. Jin was disguised as Dango, while Dango himself arrived at the location where Jin had called him. Dango knew that Mr. Jin was not skilled in fighting, so he took advantage of their fear and subdued them. Meanwhile, Mr. Jin left a gas leak, causing Dango to faint. He then took Dango with him. Lee encountered a monster and declared that it was time for it to awaken. Similar to Dango and Lee, Jin also took Dango to the place where he had kept the singer. The lifeless body of the doctor was hanging, and his murderer had intentions of turning him into a statue. Witnessing the singer's condition, Dongo apologized to him. Jin revealed that he was a cancer patient and would soon die. He planned to use Dongo's body and transplant his own brain into it, resulting in Dongo's body with Jin's brain. Jin cut off Dongo's finger and showed it to the singer before locking them both in a freezer. As a result, the singer died, and Dongo became furious. He managed to break free and severely beat Mr. Jin upon his escape. Lee also arrived with the monster, and Jin realized that Lee was connected to it. He attacked her, but Dongo intervened and fought Jin relentlessly. Despite being shot multiple times, Dongo gradually recovered and even managed to take Jin's eye. He was about to finish him off when the police inspector arrived and stopped him, promising to clear his record. The inspector urged Dongo to start a new life. Lee and Dongo felt that everything had finally become alright. As they were about to leave, they noticed several military helicopters approaching, as the military had also discovered the existence of Connect. The military then apprehended them. Please subscribe this channel and don't forget to like and comment on this video.